So you may be wondering a little bit of how um, kind of came here to kind of start with brotherhood coaching and everything that's been leading up to. So I want to tell you a quick story of when I was trying to make a positive difference at work. I started getting more involved in the county area, and I met some instructors that were just firemen on other departments, and the passion that these guys had made me look like I was a guy that got on the job for the pay or for the benefits or something else. I mean, seriously, what they displayed, I felt like a complete amateur, and like I didn't really have the passion that I thought I did. So it made me kind of want to level up with it. So I was impressed, and I really wanted to be more like them. So I started talking to them, and then I started learning about conferences that were going on and seminars, and I started attending these. And what I noticed when I was attending these is the passion would just build up more, and I get a little bit more momentum because I was learning from people that have already done what I wanted to do, and it kind of gave you some insights of everything. So I started implementing some things that I was learning, and then I started getting, some other guys that had more time on the job than me started reaching out and saying, "Hey, we, me and some other senior people talk. We like what you're doing. We just don't hope you don't burn out." And I thought that was an interesting word. That I don't burn out. It's like, okay. And then I was actually at a conference, and I heard another instructor talk about how they see people show up for a couple, 2, 3 years, going to conferences, and all of a sudden they don't see them anymore. And they said they kind of lose that spark, and in a sense burn out, which is what I heard before with it. So I'm still trying to make that positive difference, and but when we're trying to push the status quo with things, you kind of get beat up and you get a little frustrated and tired, and going to these conferences is great. I get momentum, but then I started seeing that like energy and momentum peter out after a while, and it was like, hey, when's my next recharge? It was almost like a fix. You're like, hey, I want to get there and get all pumped up so I can keep going. Well, this is about the time though, as I started really getting more into it, life changed, right? Like it always does. It's always changing and evolving. But this time, my time was becoming limited. I was trying to start a family, and I'm really passionate about the fire service. But guess what? I'm really passionate about my family and being a great husband and father. And I didn't want to screw that up because I was concentrating too much on my career. So this created a conundrum for me where I had to limit these experiences, going to these conferences and everything. So these around the time though I started getting into, I started going to some CrossFit gyms, and I started seeing how much harder I push myself when I'm in like a group atmosphere. And I was, doing better workouts, and I felt like I was more disciplined because you're around a group of people. Well, this is basically similar to like coaching programs. You're with a bunch of other people, and they keep moving you forward with everything. So I started realizing, I wonder if I can do this with, the personal development mission I was on. I was always reading and trying to learn stuff, but after a while, you just kind of do it on your own. You're kind of like, hey, all right, am I doing good? Am I on the right path? What's the right path to follow? So when I started exploring these coaching programs, everything changed with it. And I started figuring out that if I really wanted to influence others, I had to start with myself. Was it Mother Teresa said, be the change you want to see in the world. And it's a vague term, but it's simple and specific, and that's what I talked about. You have to start with changing you and how you go about things to get people on board with what you want to accomplish. So I realized I had to start with myself, and I started realizing the importance of creating routines. And I've actually been able to create this routine that basically makes me wage war in the day. A lot of stuff gets thrown at me, and there's some days, I get a little frustrated, but most of the days I don't, or I can catch it before I let it bother me and don't let it bother me. And it's also helped me create this consistent momentum where I'm not going to burn out. I'm just going to keep going. And, if you can't hit something head on, I'm going to learn how to flank and go that way with it. So because I got these benefits of the group coaching and what I started learning, I've actually been able to just keep impacting my department little by little, take a bite every time I can, not worrying about burning out. I'm able to take better care of people around me because I'm actually taking care of myself first and making sure I'm hitting everything that I need to do. And I've been able to actually grow my influence to expand to other people to where they're now starting to do more things too. And it's really cool watching that reach happen. So because of all this, I'm able to, live that dream of bettering my department with what I can do, also with my personal life. And, I'm not worried about that burnout or quitting. And, there's days of faltering. It's like, man, do I really want to go through the stress and do this? But then I see the momentum gained by it. And I'm like, I got it. Or, utilizing some stuff I learned with the group coaching was, hey, I can talk to this person and just keep going. And so that's one of the big reasons that I'm so passionate about the Squat House, because I want to be able to help everyone else experience the same benefits that I did and discovered, so you can start using it too.